Are you ready, Miranda? All right, I have 5 p.m. I will call the Tuesday, May 13th, Richland County Executive and Finance Standing Committee to order. Roll call, please. Miranda.
Carroll.
Here.
Manning.
Here.
Gill.
Here.
Glassbrenner. Here. Woodhouse. Turk.
Here.
Frank. Williamson.
Here.
And Cooey.
Here. We have nobody else online as far as committee members, but we do have several online. Verification of open meetings law compliance. Everything was posted properly and correctly. Thank you. Agenda approval, 16-point agenda, looking for approval. Mr. Manning, seconded by Mr. Gill. Any discussion on the agenda? If none, we will take it in order as presented. All those in favor of approving the 16-point agenda signify by saying aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? All right. Next item is the minutes from May 1st, our May 1st, 2025 meeting. Anybody have additions, corrections? Did you get a chance to look at them? If not, I'll declare them approved as presented in our packets. Public comment. Anybody in the gallery or online that has a public comment related to items on the agenda? Hearing or seeing none, we'll move on to reports. 7A, MIS Department Technology Update, and we have Jason online. Is that right, Jason? Can you hear us?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, you're up.
Alright, so I think this item was put on and asked by the committee, so I don't have an exact presentation to be able to try to answer some questions, but they did put together a document just to kind of show where just basic help desk tickets are over the last few years. And at this point, I mean, we're up, and if we continue at this pace, we might actually get close to 4,500. But we're continuing to work on a multitude of projects, and I guess open it up and see if there's any specific questions that you guys had for our department.
Mr. Carroll's got a question for you, Jason. Go ahead, Steve.
Do you guys do a breakdown of the tickets to identify where the biggest issues are or any trends?
We can break it down. I mean, most of the tickets here are basic, just help desk requests. It could be anything from mouse doesn't work to uploading agendas to pretty much anything that MIS covers, phone issues, on down the line. There's a lot of the duties that we do that myself and John do that are probably not encompassed in tickets, but this just kind of shows kind of where the workload is in a sense.
And Mr. Gill has a question for you.
My iPad has never worked properly, and I've heard from other supervisors that they've had lots of trouble with technology, and then Barb Scott was aware of this and offered us laptops at one point, and then that never happened. So I guess, I don't know if I'm in the minority where mine doesn't really work very well, it just doesn't sync or whatever, and other people's are working great, but mine has been a problem from day one. And I'm curious how many other supervisors have also had issues with them. And I don't know if it's a matter of the technology or the training, but there's something has not synced, in my view.
I'll let Jason answer, and then I can give you what little I know about what I have.
Right?
Okay. Yeah, I guess if there's other issues, some of them I guess we're not aware of. I would say that anytime we're open, phone call or help desk ticket, we can try to work through those issues. I know John and Quentin are going to put together a little bit more of a document on how the sync process works to make sure that everybody's kind of getting the same information to try to maybe take care of some of those issues if those are coming up. But like I say, if there's other issues, I guess I'm not aware of those.
I know, Jason, that some of the issues that we found, even when Barb was here, of course, was the way some of the documents were saved, and I think Board Chair Turk can elaborate a little bit on that, but I think it was the way some of the documents were saved and or put into the files, and they wouldn't open correctly on the iPad, if I understand that right, but on a laptop they would. I mean, I could open stuff at work on a desktop computer, but not on my iPad. And where we're at with the laptops, I thought a few of us were gonna maybe try them, but
So one of the things with the laptops, if you don't mind me
Go ahead.
jumping in here, is if we get laptops for everyone, it's gonna be between 30 and 35,000 to do laptops. Because right now, the most recent laptop that we purchased for someone was 1,500. And correct me if I'm wrong on that, Jason, but, and the iPads are about 350. And so for cost savings, that's why we want to try to make the iPads work as much as possible. Jason and I did talk today about that document, so can we get, what are those frequent errors that we're having? Can we create a document to talk through it? If we can't problem solve it, then let's start looking at what other options are out there. As far as the documents not opening up correctly, do you have any, like, is it an Excel document versus a Word versus?
Some of it's gotten better since we moved to 365, because now we have the Microsoft software on our iPads that we didn't have before. I don't know if other folks are still experiencing issues. For me, the biggest thing is the iPad screen is smaller and like spreadsheets and stuff are almost unreadable. So you can zoom them, but then you lose track of where you are, and it's very difficult to follow sometimes.
Chair Williamson.
and go ahead, Ingrid, sorry.
Just to piggyback on what people's issues are, I think I would agree with Dave. I don't have the issues with documents opening for the most part. It might be partly due to the Microsoft 365, and also I think we kind of identified the type of documents too that weren't, I feel like people aren't putting in some of the ones that we're not opening. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on that. My main issue is what he said, where it just won't sync. And I didn't know if that is, it will when I'm here physically in this building, but I can't get my iPad to sync at home. So I always have to look at packets and things online on another device on what's uploaded on our website before I come to a meeting, because I won't be able to access it. And I've tried all the things that they've said, had me try, and that's only happened for me within the last 1 to 2 years. So I don't know if it's the age of the iPad, if we switched servers or what it is, but if that's been an ongoing problem, and I know I'm not the only one who's had that issue. So that would just be a curiosity thing. It's not the end of the world, I can deal with it, but yeah.
And it's inconvenient for me, mine doesn't sync at all, it's never synced. And I've been to John and Jason, and they've looked at it multiple times, and it just has never worked. And, you know, and I don't feel like I'm the only one in that regard. So I'd be curious if did a survey of the supervisors, how, is it working for people? And I don't know the answer to that or not. And I think we've also had, like when we did the mail update, I didn't know about it, I ended up calling, and they said, oh, yeah, we did an update. And I think the communication has not been fabulous, let's say. So I think we need to have a better pipeline of communication so that when changes are made, and when my attachments didn't open, I went and I talked to Jason and John, they said, oh, nobody's attachments are opening. So therefore, you know, something was going on. But I think the expectation is so low that when stuff doesn't work, people just expect that.
Agreed. And it is the correct time of the year to be looking at budget items. Maybe a survey, like Mr. Gill, Supervisor Gill suggests, we send it out, and within that survey, those that would be willing to try a laptop, you know, we're probably gonna get everybody, other than Mr. Manning. His notebooks are working really well.
Never failed yet. You're not gonna get me.
That is Mr. Cooey, so.
Well, and if it's working for some people, that's great. You know, I'm just saying.
Hard
it's-
to yours sync at home.
Jason, comments, or I don't know if you heard everything Ingrid had.
I've caught most of it. I guess my biggest concern is we're not getting those reports back to us. So we're not aware of some of those issues. We looked at some of those devices. They've worked when we worked on them. And then really didn't hear anything back after that case. If we go to laptops that will introduce another, security, concern that we're gonna have to figure out a way to address those with, the iPads are all in a MDM or a mobile device management, where we can make sure that if those devices got lost or anything like that we can remotely wipe them, where that may introduce other costs, going to laptops, so we'll have to try to work through those. But yeah, we're willing to do what we can. I would say our biggest way of communicating is going to be by email. Then we can send that out to everybody. But I guess whatever the board is requesting, we'll try to get that put together for you.
Okay. Trish, you have any other comments?
No, so I'll work with Jason to create a survey that we will email out to all the board members, talking about what are the issues and concerns you have. And I guess I would really ask that if you are having issues and it's still not being fixed, go back to them. And if you're feeling that you're not being heard, come to me. And Jason and I did talk earlier this morning, because I think that was on one of Steve's questions, was that improved communication. Really making sure that we're notifying you guys in advance of issues, but I'm also encouraging you to check your emails a couple times a week just to see if there's any updates. But we'll work on getting a survey out to everybody, and then I guess if in the end the choice is to go with laptops, we'll probably be presenting a resolution to direct us to build that into our budget for 2026.
Any further questions, comments to Jason or administrator? All right, thank you, Jason. Stay tuned. Yeah, we have the same thing. I have never used a support ticket here, but do we have that? Hudson Brothers has support.
Yeah, it's a help desk ticket.
Yeah, so I would just start keeping track.
Just keep sending them.
Yeah, so, okay. All right, let's move on to 7B, County Administrator Report.
So the first thing I did was, one of the things that was brought to my attention is that you guys would like a personnel update as far as those who have been hired, those who have been termed, those who have been promoted. So we'll be having Justin put this together once a month with all this information. So if you have any questions on that, please let me know.
I could even add something that we do at Southwest Tech and where you're at in the position. It's either in recruitment or interviews that's just one more line that you can throw in there, so that it's, so that we get to see that every month at Fenimore.
Perfect. So kind of that open positions.
Yep.
Perfect. Thank you.
I didn't mean to ask for more, but could you show like the turnover rate and break it down for, like 0 to 1 year and then,
You want all employees, Mr. Cooey?
Well,
Countywide.
it could, and you don't have to do this right away, but it would be something good to see is what our 0 to 1 year turnover rate is, and then what our other turnover rate is, just to see how we're competing in this arena.
Chair Williamson, may I ask Mr. Cooley a question? Do you want that as a report for like the last year, or do you want that as an ongoing, because that could get pretty...
Well, and see, so I guess I'm spoiled because I have that at work every month, but it wouldn't need to be, but it could be something like quarterly or annually, whatever, just something to see, okay, what are we doing? Is our 0 to 1 year turnover rate at 50%? That tells us we got something we need to do.
Yeah.
Or, and the same with the long term, 2 to 10, 20 years, 30 years, whatever. Just to kind of so you have an idea what your turnover rate is. It doesn't have to be monthly. I mean, we have a system that just spits out.
Well, and eventually,
Hopefully Tyler
Tyler might be able to do
It
it.
may be able
Okay,
to.
well, that would be a lot less work then.
But it would be good to see just kind of what it is. I mean, you're seeing numbers, but the numbers don't mean anything.
Yeah, same question I asked again at Fenimore, but yeah, they don't like to give them numbers out.
Well, it's a good pulse to see where you're at, because that's going to tell you if you're competitive with the surrounding counties or whatever.
But like you said, then in that case, it'd probably be helpful to be broken down by department because it can vary widely depending on the department. I mean, nursing turnover, for
That's what I
example,
would
is a
say,
lot
you know,
higher.
like Pine Valley could be its own,
Right.
you know what I mean? But the courthouse staff, HHS might be its own too, I don't know, you know what I mean? It's just something to look at. It's, because this number doesn't tell me a lot, right? Other than people quit or people hired and got hired, so anyway,
To actually analyze the data.
yeah.
Any other questions in regards to this slide? More? I
Yeah,
would assume?
just a couple other updates. We are with the wage scale, one of the things with DDA that we had built in was doing that ongoing maintenance. So every year we will have them review a third of the job descriptions along with the employee to make sure that the job duties have stayed the same. If any duties have been added, we will adjust the job description. If anything has been taken away, we will also adjust the job description, and then they will do a classification on it to make sure it's where it falls or where it should fall. They will also do a full market analysis, so we are in the process of working on that right now. This is the first time we're going to be doing that ongoing maintenance, so I will probably be reporting back in July or August with how that went and kind of thoughts for next year and moving forward in regards to that. But we will be rolling that out to department heads this week on Thursday to start that process. And then we did get an email from John Hooker today that we have received 6 applications for the finance director. They all came in today, so that's exciting.
This deadline is
Friday.
right.
And that's all I have.
Everything? That's all?
That's it.
You're
Time to
good?
go home.
Good, go. All right. Any other questions for our administrator? If not, let's move on to item number 8, discussion and possible action, the MOU with the Richland School District for campus gym use.
All right, so there is a MOU that's drafted in the folder. Campus Reconfiguration did approve a draft MOU and it went to the school district. Administrator board responded back to a few of us with some questions, comments, concerns, and requested that we take it through our full board process before he takes it back to his school board. As you may or may not recall, it originally started with their board for their approval, and then it was kicked back to us, and we had some concerns with it, so we made some adjustments. He then had additional concerns and said, let's stop going back and forth. But the MOU that is presented to you is pretty similar to what went to campus reconfiguration. We had omitted under terms and number 1, the use of gymnasium. One of the things that he requested was to be more specific about meeting and when are the 2 entities, meaning Simons and the school district, going to get together. So we did put in there at a minimum of quarterly to just negotiate schedules and who's going to use the gym when. Second thing that he had requested or questions on was under the custodial services and supplies. He really wanted to make sure that they weren't responsible for cleaning up after us. So we did add verbiage in there that each party will be expected to leave the space as they found it. One of the concerns under number 3, he had asked that authorized personnel, that we added one person that we had unintentionally omitted, so we put that in. And then the other big concern is that he really would like use of the weight room. In talking with maintenance, they're not comfortable with them being in the weight room because there is mechanical things that students and the school district could have access to. So from my perspective, I don't think that they need access to that space or should have access to that space just because of what they could have access to when they're there. So I did leave that out. That wasn't something that we built back in per his request. So we're asking you to approve this draft and send it to full county board for their approval, and then we will send it on to the school district for their review.
I would take a motion, we can get it on the floor, a motion in a second, and we can discuss. Committee members. Mr. Turk makes the motion, seconded by Mr. Carroll. We are now on the floor discussion on the MOU as presented, either on the screen or in your packet. Mr. Wendell, you found something?
Well, I would say, I'm not a big fan of this at all. In my opinion, it should run through Simons. And I think we should let Mike manage when they want to either rent the gym or whatever the case may be. Part of the reason for that is if you go to the high school and you want to use that gym, you're going to rent. And everybody, whoever uses that gym has to rent it, whether it's part of the Center Stars or whoever, whatever club it is. I feel that we should allow, and I don't know if Mike wants this or not, but that's where I think that should go. I think Simon should manage that. And if they want to use it for basketball tournament or whatever the case may be, they should work to Simon.
My question would be, how does it benefit Richland County to have the school district in charge of the gym versus Simons? Where's the, if we did it the other, where's the benefit? How does it help us, basically? I understand Simons said they're picking up utilities, things like that. And so I don't know, I'm looking at two competing, views, and I'm thinking, how does it help us, or Richland County, our residents, by having the school district in charge of the gym?
I don't know that this MOU puts them in charge of the gym,
No, I mean,
they're using the gym.
Right.
And the language in here talks about Simons and the school district talking together for scheduling purposes. So Simons will have availability to be able to use it, and the school will have too. It says in here, there's language says the school district shall not collect any fees for events held in the gym, so they're not going to be renting it out. This is advantages people will get to use it, which isn't happening right now. So that's what we're trying to get at with this agreement is, okay, let's open it up, and Simons will benefit from it, the school will benefit from it, so it should be an everybody wins.
And my understanding, if you don't mind me jumping in here, my understanding is that the school has a program that can help set the scheduling. And so it would take the burden off of Simons if the school was the one responsible for entering it in. Through discussions I've had with Mike and with Steve Board, both have indicated those two have a good working relationship and feel that they can work well together.
Mr. Carroll.
As I recall, Simons and the school and our administrator get together and try to make sure the wording worked for everyone. And is that still, everybody's still good with the wording the way it is?
So who got together was Mike and myself, and we put the proposal together and took it to campus reconfiguration because they had some concerns. So the CRC had some concerns, wanted to be adjusted off of what the school provided. We then followed up after the CRC approved, and then Mr. Board came back with some concerns.
Okay. I guess the only thing, I would approve it as it is. The only thing I'm worried about is that I feel like there needs to be a single point of coordination. To say they will work together, I think might be setting us up for potential conflict, and there needs to be a decider. And that's where I kind of lean toward what Mr. Cooey is saying, that there needs to be, and it maybe should be Simons. Doesn't mean that the school doesn't have access. It just means there needs to be a single point of coordination and chain of communication. And so, not that this MOU negates that or stops that from happening, but either we amend it or we, in a separate way, we identify that there is a single party that's basically it's managing a facility.
Has there ever been any discussion about us just plain donating, giving, selling that to the high school? So we're just totally out from under it?
Nothing
That ever
formal.
been brought up at all?
Nothing formal.
I'd just like to make a point that Simons came up with the foundation, this whole expansion idea, and I'm regularly there at Simons, and it's tight. And I think Simons has been a fabulous success story, and I'd like to see us go down that road, because they have been successful in getting grants and getting people there and really assisting the community. And I think putting them as the main ones to negotiate with the high school feels like a better solution to me.
Go ahead, Ingrid.
So this has been bouncing back and forth for a while, and one of the things was the school needed, it also addresses the access to the additional, or to the fields adjoining, the soccer fields, the tennis courts. There's a lot of things that are not being utilized. The school can use them. I just think if Simons and the school board, or not the school board, Steve Board have been talking about this, they're both in agreement with this, I feel like we should stop bouncing this back and forth. It leaves room for either party to terminate simply by giving notice. There isn't like some sort of strings attached to it. In my opinion, if this is going to work well, it doesn't mean that we couldn't ever have the discussions that Mr. Gill is talking about, because this is literally just an agreement to be able to utilize it right now. We don't have those kinds of things in stone right now. The school could be utilizing it, as could Simons. I think we just need to let that happen, and we can figure out those things later if we need to. That's my opinion.
I agree with Ingrid. I mean, it's been bouncing around it's approaching a year. And I don't know who's mowing it. Are we mowing it?
We mowed it last week or the week before.
Okay,
yes.
because part of, I mean, not that it's a big expense, but it's more time. It's a pretty good sized field, but,
And just to be clear, this type of agreement represents access the school district had back when the campus was in operation, and then when it was closed and UW still owned it. So basically, they're looking to continue using it as they had been. This isn't a new innovation.
Who managed it then?
Well, it was UW Facilities managing it on their site.
Mr. Carroll.
And all I'm saying is that, yes, the school can have access, but I think the coordination function should stay with Simons. That's all. They can both use it, but I think there needs to be a single coordination function.
Well, and Mike, do you have, I mean, sounds like the school district has an electronic scheduling system is what little I know about it, but for the gymnasium, and their facilities as well, but.
Yeah, we don't have a software program. We'd be doing it more manually, so they'd have a better program to do that. You know, as far as we're concerned, we do have a good relationship with the school district. I do agree with everything that's been said, but either way, I think, you know, we're going to work together cooperatively, like it was said, you know, this can be terminated at any time, so you can try it. If you don't like it, you know, we can terminate it, then we can say, okay, we need the county to take this over.
Well, that's kind of where, Mr. Wingo, go ahead.
And just to clarify, this does put all of the power in Simon's hands. It made clear that the county has basically first dibs on any use of the gym, and it's incumbent on the school district to coordinate with the county as represented by Simons to make sure any proposed use they have does not interfere with the county's use of the gym. So from my perspective, the majority of what this does is serves as a liability waiver. So, I mean, an alternative could be I just strip everything out of it and draft us a liability waiver that can be used for anyone who wants to use the gym. But my understanding was that there was a relationship between the county and the school district that they wanted some formality given to, but not necessarily a, you know, several-page contract or anything like that. So this document protects the county's interests by providing them the primary use of the gym, while also allowing the school district regular use of it that is different than any other proposed use of the building, but also protects the county for use that we are not making of it.
Yeah, and I think part of what we're forgetting, it's not just a gym. Ingrid, we've got that field and also added in there with the tennis court, but then hopefully we're gonna get them refurbished and so on, so, yeah. Any other, Mr. Manning?
So if this just does not work out, are we locked in for a period of time? No?
No, it's 30 day notice?
30-day notice.
30 days if they push us. Realistically, every indication I've gotten is that, that they're not gonna force us to stay in a contract if we've made clear that we really don't want, because they don't want to damage the relationship long-term. If we create that resentment, it's not good for either organization.
Yeah, I would think we'd review it in the fall, have Mike come in and just see how, if we get it passed. I mean, that's my opinion. We just review it in the fall and see how it works. And if it's not working, well, then we put in our 30 days and, yeah, go from there. Further discussions? If not, I'd like to bring it to a vote. All those in favor of moving this on as presented to the full county board, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Mr. Gill and Mr. Cooey, 2. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Moving on to item 9, discussion and possible action approval of proposal from Venture Architects for additional county facility assessments.
So one of the things that has been discussed in the Campus Reconfiguration Committee is the request to have an assessment completed on Pine Valley, Simons, and the ambulance building. By doing this, we will have a full picture of the quality of all of our buildings, and these 3 would be the last step. Highway was done on their own in 2024, so we do have theirs done. And I do think it's important when we're making long-term plans that we do have a complete picture of all our facilities, the quality of them, and what is the work that needs to be done. So we did get a quote from Venture, and for them to do the 3 additional buildings, it would be $31,000.
Committee, let's get it on the floor. Motion by Carol, I'll second it. You good? Randy, got everything? All right. Discussion on the proposal from Venture Architects, Simon Center, Pine Valley facility, and the ambulance building. Mr. Carroll, go ahead.
Hey, I'll start. The reimbursable expenses they list there, I don't see any need for those. Does anyone else see any likelihood that we would need those?
Potentially for the Simon Center, if there's going to be any separation of the gym from the remainder of the campus, or if there's any other buildings that need to be separated, we don't necessarily have a survey of just that plot.
You're talking about an actual, not an opinion survey, but an actual survey.
Right.
25 grand?
Seems like.
Yeah.
I second
And
that
would that,
question.
if we agree to this, would that mean then they can, like if we said yes to this whole proposal, they could just go ahead and do that survey without coming back and being like, hey, that's gonna cost you $25,000, are you still cool with that?
No, we wouldn't, they would only do that if we requested that service.
Okay,
And we have a contracted county surveyor
got it.
who actually did, when we sold off East Hall to the school district, they did that survey.
Do you remember how much that one cost?
Probably $2,000, I think. You probably would, I think it was around $2,000. And it wouldn't be acreage-wise, it'd be, I'm guessing it's almost 5. But it depends on where your section lines and so, yeah. But no, that, I would agree with Mr. Carroll.
Isn't this something our county surveyor that we already have could handle?
That's what I just said.
Oh,
Do I need to be louder? I'm sorry.
much louder.
But I know a couple people had some issues with why we were doing Pine Valley, but we have heard and found some stuff that are not great out there already on some of the buildings, so. I don't know if anybody, Mr. Carroll, thoughts?
Well, I raised that earlier, and to me, Pine Valley, I mean, it stands alone. It is what it is, and it's not like we would move its function, or it just doesn't seem like it's part of all the other area needs we're looking at. I mean, this started out just looking at the campus, right? So, and I would say that in the ambulance building, we kind of know our situation there. If in the future we really do turn into some kind of new government facility, then maybe that's a whole different discussion.
Go ahead.
I think what we're looking to get is a clear picture of everything for our planning purposes,
Yeah.
because we're moving into the phase of talking about county space needs, which is pretty inclusive. And as we're planning ahead, we want to know, okay, if a roof on a building we think is fine, but they take a look at it, oh no, that's going to have to be done again in 2 years, well, we got to figure on that as we're looking at our planning, whether it's Pine Valley or we have some issues going on at the ambulance garage with the condition of some of the new construction that was done there, maybe not being what it was represented to be. So we want to bring in a professional to take a look at that and see if, okay, is it just, you know, we're not looking at it right, or
When was the Pine revamp done? How long ago?
that's been
10
8 years, 10 years, something like that.
I've been on 8 and, well, 9, or whatever it is.
Yeah,
It was just,
it feels
It
like
just
summer
opened my
ago, it
first
really
year.
is.
So it's been that long?
Yeah,
Okay.
yes.
yes. And we've heard from maintenance staff there that, you know, they're having some issues with things that you'd probably think in a building of that age you shouldn't have issues with. So just, again, getting their assessment team in there and getting them to look at it and tell us for sure, hey, this is what's going on here, or you've got some stuff here that, you know, this is 10 years ahead of what should be happening, should be failing now, what's going on.
Where will this money come as far as our budget? What fund will it come out of?
I think right now we're looking at general fund, or ARPA. We still have some ARPA, okay. Yeah, if we still have ARPA left, it would be good use of that.
So I'm assuming that the water issues we're having at Pine Valley predate the new construction, or that's an old?
That's a
system?
separate matter, yeah.
But I'm saying that's an old system, so, okay. But, yeah.
Yeah, that's another thing we'll need to talk about and deal with, but
Yeah.
that's separate.
Okay.
I would be in favor of it, and just kind of emphasizing, like Ingrid had questioned those other expenses that, you know, to make sure that they do, before any of that stuff is approved, they bring it back to us. Postage and handling, I mean, that's, probably won't be that, but. Comments, anyone else? Mr. Cooley, thoughts?
The reason why I am is because of the 10-year building, we need to know, you know, we deferred maintenance on everything here for how many years? It'd be good to know where we're at budget-wise.
Yeah.
I mean, it's expensive, but.
Well, and they're having washing machines and stuff like that maybe, but some of that other stuff just
Well,
doesn't.
it's the structural stuff and the HVAC and that kind of stuff is where you just can't let it get behind on that. Because it doesn't do nothing but cost more. I mean, we got the problem here,
Yeah.
you know, and we got problems at the camp, we got problems everywhere, so do I want to spend $31,000? No, but I see the need to, because I don't want to spend $131,000 because we didn't, you know.
Yeah.
So
If there's no other comments, questions, I'll call the vote, moving this proposal from Ventures for $31,000 on to full county board. All those in favor of the approval, or of approving the proposal as presented, signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? All right, thank you. Item number 10. Discussion, possible action on provision of resources support for the county administrator.
So one of the things, before my first day, Chairman Chark had talked with me and wanted me to start thinking about having a deputy administrator. Felt that that would be something that would be beneficial, not to hire somebody on the outside, but to appoint those duties to somebody internally. I did meet with last week and we talked through this. What I would see as this would be on top of somebody's already duties, about 10 hours per week. It would be to take the lead on projects. So like right now, there's about 8 different projects that are going on that I'm taking the lead on. They would take the lead on that, and they would also then be the point, take the lead, not on all 8, but take the lead on 1 or 2, and then also be that point of contact if I do have vacation days. So what I put together was a proposal. I have a job description in there to outline what their responsibilities would look like. This is also something that I know at Full County Board, when Derek was interim administrator, he was asked the question, what are some things that could help support you? I know that this was something that Candace was also looking into and felt that would be beneficial. So this is what I have put together.
No real action, so we can just discuss the way, is that right, Mr. Williams? Well, as far as this, we can discuss it, or do I need to bring it to the motion? Possible action, discussion and possible action.
Oh,
Is it within the procurement?
This is probably something we should approve and send to the full
Right.
board.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, I'll take a motion so we can get it on the floor to discuss. Mr. Cooley, second by Ms. Glassbrenner. Discussion is open. Mr. Carroll.
How does this new additional function relate to the wage study system?
You mean as far as, did we consult with them on what the wage should look like, or?
Whether you did or not, I just don't know how it would fit into the wage program we have.
We looked at this when I was kind of going through this, more of a stipend of the 20,000 per year. How we came up with that was that is 60% of the administrator's salary based on 10 hours a week. I mean, we certainly can take it to them and ask that it be added on the wage scale. That, I guess, is up to you guys if you want me to do that. I know that one of the things, we didn't look at part-time positions when we did the full wage scale, so this would be a little bit out of the bounds of how we rolled it out.
Mr. Gill.
Yeah, I'm completely supportive of the concept. I'm curious, do we have, imagine, multiple personnel that could fill this role?
I think that's something that because it hasn't been approved yet, I
No,
haven't
I guess just-
put, I do think that there are some options across the
Okay.
county, yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Turk.
When we had discussions after Candace's departure and while we were having interims, we had an interim deputy, and after listening to the information from the exit interview and stuff, we all, I think, nodded our heads a lot. Yeah, this would be a good thing for us to have on an ongoing basis to support the administrator and even to provide some coverage while the administrator's gone. We still have a decision maker in place that can take care of things. It doesn't have to just wait till Trish comes back.
What was our title made? Is this pretty much what we did with Clinton?
I think the title would be deputy administrator, unless if we would be looking for something
What
else.
we had with Clinton when he was here.
No, Clint was administrator.
Josh was deputy.
what do you mean by
Jared.
Clint? Do you mean when he had an assistant, or what was the
I
term?
thought he had an assistant.
He had an administrator's assistant. It wasn't assistant administrator, two different.
And it wasn't anywhere close to the duties of being a deputy
Right.
administrator.
It was much more administrative type stuff. It wasn't, it was support, it wasn't.
We did the same thing again at Benworth, because they had nobody, if the president's gone, who's in charge? If Trish was gone, if Candace was gone, or Clint was gone, who's in charge? Who's gonna make that decision? Like, Benmore had to close school one day. Who makes that decision? So, I think, I would agree to send it on, and I don't know, is there anybody that's got 10 hours a week available?
And that's something we'll have to figure out, you know, when the time
For
comes.
20 grand a year, I bet they could.
Don't make it worse.
Yeah, I might apply.
For 20 grand a year, I bet they could find it.
It does say 10 to 15 hours per week, on average.
Could be some long weeks.
Yeah. Any other discussion, questions? If not, let's vote to move this on to full county board. If nothing needs to be changed, in anybody's opinion, we're good with it for now? All right, all those in favor of moving this on to full county board signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, thank you. Number 11, discussion and possible action on approval of updates to the Sheriff Department addendum. Mr. Porter.
Oh. So this is a project that's probably been overdue for a while now, but due to some more recent changes in the contract and the way we're doing things with both patrol and jail, we needed to get it done. So it's largely the same addendum that we had before with some minor tweaks. One of those tweaks is the total accumulated sick leave hours. Another one is we, prior to the codification that we just went through, our hiring process was part of our ordinance. And then when we, back in December, if you remember, we had some back and forth with the new code. We did remove that from our section of code of ordinances, and we're going to put it into the addendum, so that's now added into the addendum. The addendum reflects the 12-hour shifts that my people work now, well, most of my people work now, and all the changes that have come along with that. So that's kind of what we've changed in a nutshell. Most of it still reflects the original document, but there were some, not a lot of changes, but pretty significant changes.
Questions for Sheriff Porter from the group? Mr. Carroll.
Would have been helpful to flag the changes.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we didn't do that when we made the changes right away. It was the complete document was changed, and then we presented it to Trish that way. But so.
Agreed. Yeah. Anything else? I think we've discussed it previously, the majority of it. So, if not, all those in favor of moving this resolution, approval of updates to the Sheriff's Department addendum on the full county board, signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed?
Made a motion second.
Oh.
I make a motion.
Okay. How did we do? Oh yeah, he just started talking.
Yeah. Sorry.
I did.
He's the only one with a gun. He can...
That we know of. Manning and Cooley will go with. Thank you. Yeah.
Was there any opposed, sir?
What's that?
Any
Okay, well, we
opposition?
got it first and second, now we probably need.
Yeah, now we can vote. All those in favor of moving this on to full county board signify by saying aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? All right, we're good. Thank you, Sheriff Porter. Item 12, discussion and possible action resolution approving a wage differential for bilingual staff.
Did you want to get that motion first, or do you want me to start talking?
You can give us an update.
Okay.
What are we discussing?
So what we're looking to do is, right now in the HHS addendum, there is a provision that if you are bilingual and it's relevant to your job, that you get a 75-cent per hour wage differential. I know that Veteran Services currently has somebody who is bilingual and utilizes his skills quite often. I know the Sheriff's Department has someone who's bilingual who utilizes the skills and does that quite often, and they are not compensated. So it's for two purposes. Number one is to have consistency across the county departments, and number two is it would ultimately be a cost savings. It is pretty expensive and pretty pricey to use language line or different translation services, and if these different departments have someone on staff, it does provide a benefit to the departments. And so I'm asking that we make this consistent across all county departments. There are online tests that can be taken to ensure that they are able to be a good translator and that they are what they can translate as they say they can. We've also talked about it has to be relevant for the position. So if we have, and I'm not going to pick on highway guys, but if we have a highway individual who is bilingual, they typically do not encounter as part of their daily work individuals who only speak Spanish, and so we wouldn't be providing it there. But as dispatch, ambulance, over at HHS, it's very common that we encounter those who have their primary language is Spanish, and that would be the other thing. It has to be a relevant language. So right now, 3.3% of our population are Hispanic and speak Spanish, and so it is very relevant at this point in time. Spanish is.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Glassbrenner, seconded by Gill. Discussion on the resolution to pay more for bilingual staff members. Mr. Carroll.
The same point that our wage study and all of our policy stuff, would we revise the wording in there then?
Yes, so we would update, it's already built into the wage study for HHS.
Oh, okay.
Because we have it for, there are 2 staff over at HHS that are bilingual that get that differential.
I guess I missed that when I read it.
Yes, yeah, that's all right, yes. But we would have to update all the handbooks to have them consistent across the board.
Further questions? If not, all those in favor of sending the resolution on the full county board, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, everybody is in favor. What's that?
Was the second Mr. Gill?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Item 13, discussion and possible action, a resolution accepting spring 2025 grants for Simons Recreation Complex and programming. 13, Mr. Hardy.
All right, thank you. Okay, so we've got a couple smaller grants that we did get offered to us, and obviously we need approval from the county board to accept those. So these are, again, programming grants. They're smaller grants. There's no match to them. There's no cost to us. We do set up a program. We set it up, for example, so that fees will cover any costs that we have, any kind of programming that we do. So these are, basically what these do is these make the programs more affordable for participants or for people that are using them. So American Canoe Association has offered $500 for starting a new kayaking class. So we did inherit the 6 kayaks from the UW when they left behind. So we do have those kayaks. We do have an instructor available, and we would like to offer beginning kayaking classes in the pool. So this would allow us to do that and keep the fees low so that they're a little more affordable for the kids and adults that may be using them. The Campus Foundation has offered $3,000. We're working with the school district, Richland School District, and with Steve Board. We've been working over the last year on getting free swim lessons to all 3rd graders in the Richland School District. Looks like we're going to be able to do that in the 2025-26 school year as part of their curriculum. It's one of our goals that we've had, and so the Campus Foundation would pay for those instructor costs for those. Every 3rd grader in the school district would come over for a normal 8 sessions or 2-week swim lesson program. And then the WR Employee Salway Family Foundation has offered $10,000 and has to cover the transportation from the Richland Intermediate School to Simons. So that will cover all the busing costs, so there won't be any transportation or any cost to the school district, no cost to the families for participating, no cost to Simons. In fact, our instructors will get paid, but paid through the grant, so no cost to the county as well. But it will get us free swim lessons for all 3rd graders. It's a good PR piece, a good collaboration between us and the school district. Part of the school curriculum, so it's something that they can kind of celebrate as well. Again, you're probably familiar with, obviously you're familiar with the Campus Foundation. The American Canoe Association is probably well known. The Salway Family Foundation, for those of you that don't know, I have worked at that foundation a couple times in the past. They're a good foundation to work with. They're associated with, in Baraboo, they work with Flambeau, but Seats is one of their companies under Flambeau, and because Seats is here in Richland Center, we are eligible to request grants to the Salway Family Foundation. They only grant to communities that do have businesses that are in there. So since we got Seats here, we're eligible for grants, so we asked for $10,000, they gave it to us, and that is a recurring grant that we can go back and get additional money for down the road. So This is one program that we want to continue with the school district. They have the same idea that we want to continue this for future years for third graders. We also want to continue this hopefully for other school districts in the county, Ithaca, Riverdale, other school districts that we can work with as well, so we can expand this to other school districts. So that's what we've got, and this will go to the next board meeting if you pass it.
Move to approve.
Cheryl, Manning, caught up, Martha, good? Got it. Discussion? Thank you, very good job. All I can say is if, when you get to where you want some more, I might have some other people that would donate for them outlying districts.
Okay, great. Good enough.
How does that kayak program gonna work? How are you gonna offer that? Or is that a weekend thing? Or?
We're still working on it now. We just found an instructor that's willing to do it, so we're going to build it around his schedule, basically. We're hoping that we can do both kids and adults, but as far as what his schedule is like, in the summertime, he's a little bit more flexible, so we'll probably offer it in during the weekends as well. So we want to hit, whoever we can hit. And just with, especially with Pine River's not so bad, but with Wisconsin River, and we always hear about drownings there, and there's a lot of people that just don't understand or respect, I guess, the water, so we want to make sure we teach
And
that.
you're gonna bring those kayaks into the pool, basically.
They're gonna, yeah, the instruction's gonna be in the pool. On the very last day, they may go out to the Pine River.
Okay.
We're not sure on that yet. It's gonna be up to the instructor somewhat, but it's mainly in in a controlled environment in the science pool. So, yeah.
Anything else for Mr. Hardy? If not, all those in favor of moving it on to full county board, the 3 grants, signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? All right, thank you. Any correspondence, Miranda?
No, sir.
Future agenda items? Committee members, anything for future agenda items? Seeing none, Mr. Manning?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn until 6:30 tonight. We didn't, no, we got another
You're
meeting.
not skipping out, are you, Mark?
Seconded by, seconded by Carol. All those in favor of adjourning until 6:30, signify by saying aye. Aye. Thank you. We are adjourned. Thanks.
What is it, Facebook?